Mel, you praised the New England Patriots for their draft, but it just kind of seemed that Bill Belichick didn't really love it, right? Because he pushed so many picks into next year. So we know they didn't go with that quarterback, despite the fact that, there was some talk going into this draft that maybe New England would take one with Tom Brady being 41 years old, but they didn't do that. So initially, just your thoughts on the fact that they didn't take a quarterback in those early rounds.
Well, they didn't force it. If they didn't like a quarterback, you don't take him. You prepare to go into the draft, and you see what happens. And quarterbacks went early. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, they passed on. But they had guys that can help them for Tom Brady and help them have another 2-3 year run. And Isaiah Wynn at the Senior Bowl was arguably, if not the best player, certainly the best offensive lineman. And I think if you look at what Sony Michel can do, an immediate impact running back. But what I really like is getting an extra 2 and an extra 3 next year. Right. That's what Bill Belichick, how he builds football teams. He hasn't had it of late. He's got it now. 1, 2 2s, and 2 3s next year. You got to give him a lot of credit for that.
To always have the option to move. I mean, that's currency. You need that currency. That's what Bill Belichick will always do. And Diana, you talk about you don't think he loved this draft because he traded down. Love and Bill Belichick don't go in the same sentence, by the way. But I'll just say that's what he does. He just wants the currency. If he can risk missing someone because I get that extra 2, that extra 3, I'll get another good player. That's just the fact that it is. I think he's in a situation now that he hasn't been before, a sort of a calculation to where I have a 40-year-old quarterback that, in my mind, the old way of thinking is you're 40 years old, you should be on your way out. Well, my 40-year-old quarterback just was the MVP of the National Football League, so you have to look at him and say, maybe he does have 2, 3 more years left that are good football, and I need to build around him. And I think that's showing what his belief right now by getting that offensive lineman, getting a running back, and a draft to support Tom Brady.
But Teddy, when we last saw the defense on the field, they were getting gashed, right? They still need to gain more speed in that front 7. They didn't go there. Why do you think they didn't do that? Why didn't they improve there?
Linebacker was a need that a lot of people looked at too. Are they going to address that early with the first round picks? But he still believes in that coaching system to where if I'm going to bring in some players that maybe some people haven't heard about, okay, maybe they're lesser draft picks, I'm going to coach them up and teach them my system.
Which is the whole point of amassing the draft picks, right? You keep your roster deep so you can replenish from within. So you're not having to hit free agency all the time. You can be more strategic there. That's why another second rounder next year, another third rounder. That's the way to work the draft.
As smart as we all think we are evaluating these players and all the time you put in, at the end of the day, each round it goes from like 50-50 to 40-60 to 30-70 in terms of what you finding a starter at that spot. So he's played a game that, he always talks about he has like analytics. But ultimately, he just doesn't know it. He constantly is doing what the smart thing is to do. Take quantity over quality. Moving up, if you do that too much, you're going to wind up getting bit by it because you can find guys in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. We see it every single year. If you have more picks, you got a better shot of guys sticking.
And one of those 6th-rounders this year is Danny Amendola. And Danny Amendola moves on.
Basically, yeah.
Yep.
He got Braxton Berrios out of Miami, who's Danny Amendola, only younger. Great punt returner, heck of a receiver.
They do still need an edge rusher, and they do still need a cover linebacker.
And I just wanted to say this is a situation where the results and the stats and everything follow what Bill Belichick is doing in terms of the performance of Tom Brady and building around him. It works in that scenario because there's proof in the pudding and also maybe getting lesser name, linebackers and believing in the system. Yeah. We just talked about a team where the stats don't necessarily bear that out.
So maybe Belichick does love analytics. He loves something maybe. Just doesn't know it yet.
That's
what we learned
I think he knows it.
All right.